you got a job, you got family, you're doing all those kinds of things. And you get back to a Super Bowl and it's fun. You see guys, you talk to them, and you chit-chat about everything else. Then you look around and you see things like up on the wall right in front of you right now, and behind the two of you, are all these banners, which are replicas of Super Bowl tickets. And I'm looking because Super Bowl 9 and 10, our first one is right here, and it's on the top row and on the far left. And then it goes way,
way down there,
way down to the right. Then it comes back and starts all over again on the left and goes way, way down on the right. And mine are all up here on this end, in this little quadrant. So that means that there's a whole bunch of them. I mean, things like I played in Super Bowl 9. All right, Super Bowl 9. Think about it. It was the last single-digit Super Bowl, and now we're playing 44.
Time flies.
Time flies.
So what was your, if you had to run the 40 now that you've reflected on all these
you look like you could still go a little.
You're still in great shape.
You could beat all of us in a race.
But I don't have to run a 40. and one of the interesting things, for as much work as you do, training, getting ready for a season, the running you do, the sprints, the 40s, the 100s, the quarter miles, just everything you do for training. The day I retired, I've never run a 40-yard dash all out as fast as I could.
Why would you? Why would you?
Why would I have to? I don't have to. It's something that a lot of guys would tell you, other than just a timing mechanism or measurement for a player to analyze a player's talent and ability. Why would you run 40-yard dash as fast as you could?
Yeah, how many times in a game do you ever actually just run 40 yards
straight down the field?
Yeah.
Very few. Yeah. Very few. So when these guys retire, they're never going to run a 40-yard dash for time.
No, you mean you weren't a gunner your whole career when you played football? You never had to be the...
On special teams.
Yeah, not so much.
I was a punt returner, but that's it. One time, somebody didn't run out in the field for a punt return. I ran out there and tried to get on the tackle, but that was it. It was against Cleveland. I thought some guy was going to try and run over me just for the heck of it.
Do you ever reflect back and just, I guess you must, in terms of, especially when guys get together, that team, that Steelers team, you mentioned those two there, then there was another two, it was 4 and 6 years. That's obviously pretty impressive. Then there was another year, I guess, when you lost to the Raiders, when I think both Franco and Rocky were hurt.
76 season.
In a playoff game. So that was...
we thought we should have gotten 3 in a row.
Yeah, you probably should have. And it'll probably never happen again. I mean, New England's been pretty darn good, but that era was you could keep teams together, and that was an amazing assemblage of talent, and it's certainly shown by the number of guys who are in the Hall of Fame.
It would be hard to assemble a team like that today because of the salary cap not being able to pay them. And so, Dan Rooney has always asked that question. I should say Ambassador Rooney now has always asked that question. And he always says, yes, he'd pay everybody. But we know Dan doesn't have to prove he would do that. And the team was fairly frugal, so they wouldn't do it. But it's one of the things. I mean, Thursday night over at Scaresy Lanes in Davie, Florida, is the NFL Charities Super Bowl Celebrity Bowling Classic. The fifth one. We raise $1 million for charity for the youth education camp, 7 o'clock. And when you get to events like that, guys talk about those kinds of things. Winning 4 Super Bowls in 6 years. What's different, what's not different. Then there are younger guys who play the game today, and they're talking about what they're doing, what's going on. How they wish they could do things a little bit differently. They ask questions about the game being played when we played it. We ask them questions about what's going on today. And the focus and how you handle certain things in the locker room or on the field. So it's a great time and it's a great opportunity, but all those things come up in that conversation.
Hey, talk about the culture you had. You kept your group together. There was a culture within the whole organization, from the top down, but in the room among the guys. Somebody comes and joins that Steelers team to fill a role. What were they walking into? When they had a locker next to Lynn Swann, what would happen for that guy that came into that mix?
Well, first of all, when you first come to the team, we don't know if you're going to make the team or not. It's one of the things I found kind of unusual when I first came to the Steelers, that the veteran guys weren't real friendly with you, and they weren't like inviting you over for dinner and trying to help you get acclimated to the city, because you're there in training camp and you're not in the city anyway. And then they truly didn't know whether or not you'd be a guy who would make the team. I mean, the Steelers have been in the playoffs, and so you're the first-round pick. That's great. Hopefully you can contribute. But if you didn't make the team, why waste your emotional energy and putting it out there? Then when you make the team, it's a different kind of environment. And, you know, there's a high expectation. The guys will take you under the wing a little bit and kind of show you the ropes. And, you know, when Joe Green walks over to you and he's talking to you and having a serious conversation, you pay attention.
I would hope so.
And you listen, you know, that kind of thing. You know, so it kind of moves along. It's a process.
And the thing was, and as you were saying that, it hit me that when you had new players, like you said, mostly it was rookies. I remember putting together something in one of the Super Bowls when the Steelers played the Cowboys. Rosters were 45 then, and I remember adding this up. Out of the 90 players in that game, there were like 3 total that had ever been with another team before coming to the Steelers or the Cowboys. It was all original guys that just stayed.
Yeah.
Man, you'll never see that again.
Well, that was an attitude in those days where most players, I believe, thought of being traded as a demotion. They didn't see it as an opportunity to make more money. Salary cap and the dollars and cents have changed everything. I mean, you look at a receiver like Antoine Randall L., you know, who came out of Indiana, came to the Steelers, made a mark as a wide receiver, at some point the third wide receiver. Special, you know, guy comes in, can throw the ball, returns, etc. Now, the Redskins offer him an $8 million bonus to go sign with the Redskins. You don't think he's not going to take it? Of course he takes that. He's got to go. John Stallworth. John always knew he was going to be in Huntsville, Alabama. He was going to go back home. If we had salary cap and that kind of structure, and we're playing for the Steelers, and he's here our first 2 years, we win Super Bowls. He's coming up for contract negotiation, and he's thinking, okay, I'm sharing time with Lynn Swann. This will be great. This will be fine. But on the other hand, he might be thinking if the Atlanta Falcons offer him a big bonus where he can drive to Huntsville, Alabama, and be closer to home, you don't think that's on his mind, that maybe he might move in that direction? You know, and so then you lose a John Stallworth who's not there maybe for the last 2 chances to win in Super Bowls 13 and 14, and maybe several other guys on the team. Look at the guys who were playing back up to Joe Green and L.C. Greenwood. I mean, you know, how about those guys who are pretty good and talented? So,
Lynn, we really appreciate your time. Thanks for sharing some of your stories with us.
hey, my pleasure. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
That's the Hall of Famer Lynn Swann. We'll be back with more here on 590 The Fan, KFNS, and KFNS.com.
It's awesome. Thanks,
Thank
man.
you so